Hello, Thaddeus. Welcome to Walking with Jeff. I've taken a lot of B-roll on this hike so that, I can do a sort of two-part sort of video. Some of it's taken while hiking, but a lot of this will be dubbed over and I'll record the stuff that I'm talking about later. So, sort of a hybrid thing. It should hopefully work out very well. Also, Christmas is coming up, so this should be the last video that I have to do without a real camera. So from here on out, after this week, I should have better videos, also in 1080p. So if you really wanted to waste your time loading up YouTube videos, you could watch it in full high definition.
Well, it's gonna be the future soon, and I won't always be this way. When the things that make me weak and strange get engineered away.
Now when I was young, Christmas was all happy days. Couldn't wait to get to Christmas so that I could open my presents and play with all my toys. But nowadays, especially after graduating college, I just don't even plan to go home for all of that long. It gets to be like December 18th and I'm like, oh, I should make plans to go home now. And then come the parents going, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, is there anything I actually need or could use? And then eventually I might come up with something. Like this year I would have the camera that I decided to get. If it hadn't been for doing the guys from the future, and if my webcam had not severely annoyed me, then even that I probably wouldn't have gotten. And then I would have just been, well, something, maybe books. Probably books. Okay, and now for some really rickety style fording of a river. This was the Oregon Trail. I would still say caulk wagon and float it because that's just what you should do. That's a pro tip for you. This log is not stable at all. But yes, if there was a professional Oregon Trail circuit, I would have been the #1 player in the world. I rocked that game immensely. But overall, I've never been a huge fan of Christmas. Growing up, you watch all of the holiday specials, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Charlie Brown Christmas, and they kind of set up an expectation of what Christmas should be like. And then if you go shopping, it is nothing like that because everyone turns into a complete jerk. And you go outside and it's 70 and sunny. Well, it also could be 13 below and freezing northeastern wind, but that's just what happens when you live in Missouri. It can't exactly make up its mind what season it should be. But a lot of Christmas in the holiday season is just me spent at home trying to figure out how to occupy my time. It's nothing like those specials, and I think for me that is what the real letdown of Christmas is there's kind of this expectation that my reality never meets. Here is one of those spiky trees. Now these are a little bit small and so they're probably more about keeping the deer away. But if you've ever seen one of those really gigantic spikes that are like inch round on some of those trees, those were developed and evolved originally to be a protection against woolly mammoths who would try to uproot trees by like the whole giant tree. And so those spikes were there to keep the mammoths from just basically ripping the tree out of the ground. It's also that time of year when Fox News turns to the war. The war on Christmas. Now for most of us, we can look out the window, look at every shopping mall, look at every TV special, and every other little thing around the holidays, and can clearly tell that if there's a war on Christmas, whoever started that war and is fighting it is doing a really crappy job. Like, we're talking the armies of a third world country versus the United States military kind of competence level in fighting this war. Because the people who are against Christmas are getting crushed. And if you look at the history of people who are against Christmas, they don't have a very good track record. Scrooge gives in the course of a novel. Now I suppose the early settlers of America, the Puritans, the religious groups like that who opposed Christmas had for a little while done a decent job of outlawing Christmas. But since then, they've not really had many successes on the anti-Christmas front. Here is another attempt at forging, which this seems to be a lot more stable than the last one. if then it does have some jumps in it that I'm not particularly fond of. And random tires. That make fun weird noises. And we're across. Now this war mainly consists of the religious evangelicals and the media networks trying to get the ratings of the religious evangelicals focusing on irreligion in America, and because the new atheists and the evangelical Christians have a obdurate circle jerk going on, it works out very well for the media because some people put up some billboards, then the media goes and gets reactions to the billboards, then the irreligious decide, oh, we need to put up more billboards because look at how we're being oppressed, because the media decides to always get the opposing opinion, because rather than having an informed debate, they go and get two sides and present them dichotomously as equal. They aren't, but that's besides the point. What it really comes down to is, for the most part, the evangelical Christians don't understand how the Establishment Clause works, in that governments cannot establish or promote a religion. So what this comes down to is a simple matter of efficiency. Yes, there is no technical separation of church and state. However, when it comes down to it, if you put up one religious, if you're the government and you put up one religious symbol of, say, the Christian faith, then you also have to allow people to put up Islamic symbols, secular symbols, Hindu symbols, Scientology symbols, moon cult batshit symbols. Every religion then has to be given and granted space to put up their symbols, because otherwise it would be the government establishing. And so what the government does is say, we're not going to put up any symbols of any religion because we have better things to do and only a limited amount of space. This is not, in fact, an attack on Christmas. It is simply, in a lot of instances, the elimination of special privilege for a certain religion. Because that's gonna happen.
No parking within 10 feet.
This is a spiffy outhouse. Oh, look at that really big butterfly. It died.